Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 536 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Today, it's going to be about Zack Snyder's Justice League. That it's the only thing that's, not totally bothered by the COVID-19, if you will. So there's been some more buzz for Zack Snyder's Justice League in a way, and we'll get to that in quite a moment. For now, this will kind of summarize this whole thing that's possibly happening. This is actually a Screen Rant article back in November 16th of last year, around the time that the Snyder Cut fandom got, and the celebrities and the cast and crew and a whole bunch of other people got released the Snyder Cut to trend, which would make the biggest difference because that's when it needed to trend the most. That is what initiated the negotiation, or actually made the negotiations in more favor for Zack Snyder. That's when, we kind of helped it bring it to the table per se. So, but in any case, Stephen Colbert put out this article. Buzz for the Snyder Cut of Justice League is at an all-time high, and an HBO Max release could be the best case scenario for Snyder, Warner Brothers, and fans. And I want to go right to this point. I think I've actually read this article or talked about this before, but I want to go to this portion here because this makes the most difference in what we're talking about today. In order to compete with Disney Plus, HBO Max will need to have a catalog to match Disney Plus's original Marvel and Star Wars shows. We already know some shows are in the works, like a Green Lantern show from Greg Berlanti and another season of Doom Patrol, which will air on both DC Universe and HBO Max. But no major franchise properties will have a presence at HBO Max launch. And this close to launch, there's no chance any new projects will be ready to go by then either. Meanwhile, Disney Plus had The Mandalorian ready to go on day one, with another season already underway as The Falcon and Winter Soldier is also in production. And of course, some of those things that are in production are no longer in production right now because of the COVID-19. So we really got to dig deep for some of that content to appear on HBO Max, right? So remember what is said there. Disney Plus had The Mandalorian ready to go on day one. And he's talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, Doom Patrol, Green Lantern show. Just remember that for a moment. Let's get into Bill Jed Ramey. Okay, said some interesting tweets today, and it's in kind of in conjunction with what he said yesterday, and in fact that he knew that there was a screening for Zack Snyder's Justice League. He said desperate calls for desperate measures for Warner Brothers. So he's still salty. He's a bit bitter that Zack Snyder's Justice League may actually come out after all. And, with that whole fight he had with Jay Oliva and things like that, he's a little bit salty. Okay, we'll let him go. He's an, old man, But he did some interesting tweets today. He says this: you don't know what else would be done as a live-action miniseries on HBO Max? The New Frontier. Yeah, this Justice League series. Yeah, well, why not do this Justice League series? And then he went out with another tweet. To hell with past failed endeavors. If I'm Warner Brothers, I'd produce a Watchmen-style miniseries based on Kingdom Come for HBO Max. Now, you can sense a lot of snark there. To hell with past failed endeavors. So, I don't know, Justice League? Are you trying to say, if I'm Warner Brothers, I'd produce a Watchmen-style miniseries? Okay, so, not now. Aside from the snark, a Kingdom Come miniseries sounds pretty good. Okay, like I said, I've always wanted to see a live-action Kingdom Come series. No, not just Brandon Routh as Kingdom Come Superman, but an entirely series. And if it's with Brandon Routh, that's cool too. But look at the context here. Let the subtext here, he's in his tweets here. The first one, he says, a live-action miniseries on HBO Max, Justice League. If I'm Warner Brothers, I'd produce a Watchmen-style mini-series based on Kingdom Come for HBO Max. So the two subtexts here that are similar in each is both talk about Justice League. To say that, you know what else would be done? You know what else other than what? Well, what's he been hating on these past 2 days, right? To hell with past failed endeavors. Okay, because he doesn't want Snyder cut. He doesn't want Snyder stuff. But he also puts in, again, mini-series based on a Justice League story for HBO Max. Where is this coming from? Why is he so angry? Why is he so bitter about a possible mini-series that's based on a Justice League for HBO Max? And like I said, what is he the most bitter about? The Snyder cut, Justice League Snyder cut. But he said mini-series. This is not something I'm not pretending. He said mini-series here. This is interesting today as well. I got to put my earphones on. But Grace Randolph also came on today, and she said this.
If only they had one of their major franchises represented on the platform. Something that could be their Mandalorian. I choose my words very carefully. Wouldn't it be great if they could announce, not air, but announce something sometime before launch in the next 2 weeks, if everyone could agree? Wouldn't that be nice?
Hold up. Did she just say Mandalorian? I choose my words very carefully. What is Mandalorian? Mandalorian is a series. A mini, it's not even a mini series. I guess it's season 1 has happened. They're waiting for season 2, but it's a series, an episodic series that is on Disney Plus. Okay. Now some may have thinking she's referring to Mandalorian as the titular, like a property, a project, an original content for Disney Plus. But she kind of hints a little bit more. When someone asked her, Snyder Cut miniseries? Is that what you meant? Grace Randolph just gives a wink. By the way, Lightcast also said, told you she gets it. And Lightcast podcast also did an interesting interview with Taylor Murphy. And apparently they even talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League being an HBO Max series. So you can go in the description below for that, as well as including Grace Randolph's video. So where is this coming from, right? Like I said, where is this? Has been suggested back in November 16, 2019 by Stephen Colbert on Screen Rant, where he said, well, first, HBO Max, but also I want to cue you into this paragraph where he literally just pulls out series. Green Lantern Show, that's a series. Doom Patrol, that's a series. Mandalorian, that's a series. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is also a series, but I'm not sure. But pretty much mostly about series. And that's the key, the Mandalorian. Exactly what Grace Randolph said. Now, in November 9th of 2019, Dave the Film Junkie had put this out. Question. Would you be down with them releasing the Snyder Cut on HBO Max into 4 or 5 episodic segments of the entire thing? Whole thing released after? Or would you rather just have the entire thing all in one shot? That was back in November 9th of 2019. Revenge of the Fans had put this poll out yesterday. If the Snyder Cut of Justice League were to be repackaged as some type of limited series events for HBO Max, would that get you to subscribe to the service? Obviously, for the voters here, a lot of them said yes. 2,200 votes, and 69% yes. 13% says getting it anyway, and 18% is a no. So, but most of them said yes, because regardless, I think anything Zack Snyder Justice League will put out will be definitely approved by Zack Snyder. So, I'm not going to say no to Zack Snyder, and I'm definitely not going to say no to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it is strange to think of it as a HBO Max series, but you really got to think about it a little bit more. Okay, and if you heard Real and Podcast, you hear Dave and you hear Steven talk about it. Who it's pretty much revealed they were very much in the know of this whole thing, and you will see that they are. But it is an absolutely captivating thing, a limited series. And you makes you wonder, like, okay, so how's that work? Like 3.5 hours pulled apart. But then I think, was it like someone, like Cast, even Taylor Murphy, especially Dave, especially Garza and Ben Everett and Steven, they all talked about it on their channel last night. That it's possible that he could pull out some things from the assembly cut, which is over 5 hours long, in order to kind of cut it in a way to be in an episodic nature. I have seen this type before. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, okay, I don't know if you're a Dragon Ball fan. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, the animated movie Battle of the Gods came out, right? And it had, Goku, Vegeta, it had Beerus. It had the inclusion of Beerus and that storyline. They were able to expand on that movie into an episodic nature, at least for the first 10 episodes of Dragon Ball Super. So I've seen that happen before, something pulled apart and into like 10 episodes. And why is this good? Okay, why would this be good? Why not just drop a 3.5 hour movie? I think they could have done that as well. But in negotiations, okay, and Dave has revealed this, and some other people as well, that Zack had put this on the table. He said, well, how about this way? How about we do it as a series, And I think as a studio, that actually happened. As a studio, or as HBO Max, rather, the streaming service, Warner Media side, would like this idea. Because it grabs you, right? Imagine an episode dropping week after week, and it just grabs your attention. You're able to elongate the subscription base of that. Instead of dropping the whole thing in one, it gets you talking about it. Oh my God, that's what happened in the first episode. I can't wait for next week or the week after, depending on how much they're going to, pull this apart. And it gives him time to really elaborate. It makes that character, actually expand each character, right? We'll get more of the Flash. We'll get more to get to know Ezra Miller's Flash. We get to know Ray Fisher's Cyborg. We get to know a little bit more. People are more involved, invested. So if it's like that, if it's like the 9-episode Watchmen series that went on HBO, I think that'd be pretty fantastic. I don't know if it's going to be 9 episodes. I'm just saying. I think the idea of a limited series event for HBO Max would be a very intriguing thing for HBO Max, for Warner Media, who is very much lacking in content right now. They would say, well, how do we expand on this? Do we just put the 3.5 hour? Or like maybe possibly Zack putting it on the table says, well, hey, how's this more incentive? Can I get this amount of money to finish this movie? 40 to 60 million, just saying. That we could potentially, I can potentially help you, HBO Max, get more subscribers. I could help you put some giant tentpole on your platform, and I can make sure that subscriptions come pouring in and stay for the long run, because I'm providing you with a giant tentpole project that it's not just a movie, but it's a limited series that could possibly expand to season 2, to season 3, which essentially would have been Justice League 2 and 3. And it would be more enticing for people to come jumping in, right? Wanting to wait for the next episode. And when they're waiting for the next episode, they're watching other content. They're already subscribed. They're watching other content. I want to go in. I can't wait for next week. And we're talking it about on Twitter. We're talking about Instagram. Just like Watchmen. When every Watchmen episode comes out, people are like, "Oh, did you hear what happened to that so-and-so? Oh, did you hear what happened to so-and-so?" It gets people so excited. And they're like, "What are you talking about? What is this new show? And when can I watch it?" Well, you can watch. You can watch it on HBO Max. So I think having that, if he indeed really put that on the table, I can definitely, as HBO Max, someone who, as a company that wants to get more subscribers into their base, and they're really looking into an episodic segment. I mean, Dave suggested at that time in November of 2019, that's only 4 or 5. But if they really dig deep into the more of the assembly cut, or even he gets a chance to have that additional photography as well, he could really expand that out and give us more content than what he was going to give us before, right? And so I think this is a phenomenal and fantastic thing, and it could possibly be happening as kind of gauged of what has transpired in this past 48 hours to make someone like Umberto Gonzalez say, "I think it's actually happening, guys. I think it's happening." For people like Batman on film to say, like, "I can't believe they're desperate enough to do this," and at the same breath would say, "Why don't you do this other live-action miniseries instead? Why don't you do this other live-action miniseries instead that's, based on some type of Justice League?" So it definitely, and also Grace Randolph, we can't forget about her, Grace Randolph as well, saying that this could be HBO Max's Mandalorian, giving a wink to that report as well. So I think it's most likely, not sure yet, we don't have anything official at all, that it's going to be a limited series event for HBO Max, but I kind of dig it. I kind of dig that idea that the Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be a limited series. And I know, I get it. I mean, I've wanted to watch this as a movie as well. I'm more of a movie guy as well. I'm sure a lot of you are movie people as well. You never know. I mean, one day after all this is over, it could, repackage as a movie later, or you know what, there's a lot of talented people out there. Reza, I'm talking to you. I've seen something there that could potentially, splice this back up. John and Garen Garza, he put Batman v Superman and Man of Steel together. He could probably do it. I know, I get it. It's probably that's more of a fan thing, but they're like the Snyder Cut, when they say that it didn't exist. It's not coming out. Oh, now it's coming out. Never say never in this industry. Mauro Robles said that recently, as he probably is knowing what's going on as well. So I say, we're going to get Zack Snyder's Justice League. And whatever format Zack approved, I'm game. Because it's been like so long. It's like over 2.5 years, maybe even 3. I don't know when this is coming out, 4 years. But at least just to get an announcement, just to get some type of confirmation that this thing is actually coming, it's actually happening. This is not just scoopers whispering into each other's ears and stuff like that. And I just really want it to happen. I just really want some type of confirmation, at least Zack to say something, announce it, especially whether it's going to be an HBO Max or however it's going to be. I mean, it's probably going to be an HBO Max because COVID-19 has pretty much shut down everything else. But I'm really, really excited to hear more. I think it feels like it's ramping up to something. I mean, like I say, if the naysayers and people like Grace and Mauro Blez is back, Umberto Gonzalez, who else is there? Sean O'Connell, the cultured nerd, and Batman on film are starting to hear stuff. It's starting to come on. That means they're probably preparing for something. I don't know what, but I can't wait to hear what that is, right? So I'm very excited for this. I hope something's coming soon. I don't know. I'm dripping with anticipation over anything that could be Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I can't wait. I just can't. I hope we don't have to wait very much longer for an announcement, and I just really can't wait, man. It's been so long. But, it doesn't mean we don't stop talking about it, because I think with more, of that message out there, we'll continue to put a little, that little tweet bird, that little blue bird in HBO Max's ear and says, hey, you know what? I think we could really appreciate if you could put Zack Snyder's Justice League on your platform, in any shape or form that you want to put it. We need something. so HBO Max launches on May 27th. And so let's continue to show HBO Max and Warner Brothers, Warner Media Group, well, mainly Warner Media and HBO Max, AT&T, that we want to see Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's the brand. That's the content. That is the physical thing that he wants to show us. Let's ask for it. Wednesday, May 27th at 2:14 p.m. your time. Let's do this. Release the Snyder Cut. # Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.